Welcome to the Prado Museum. We're here a few moments before the museum opens on the social media programming with our sessions in English, supported by our nonprofit American Friends of the Prado Museum. We thank you so much to our donors and encourage everyone to find out more about us and our sister institution in Spain, the Fundación Amigos del Museo del Prado. Find out what we do and how to join our mission. Thank you. Today we are in a really gorgeous room thanks to the generous donation of the Vares Fisa family. That really added to the Gothic collection, and we are going to focus on this beautiful work by Jaume Serra that we know today as the Virgin of Tobed. Now, Tobed is a small town in rural Aragon, and at the time of this painting was a territory of the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre. And they had there a fortress church in the Mudejar style that 3 altarpieces were commissioned to decorate. And this spectacular church still stands today and is actually recognized as UNESCO World Heritage, as Mudejar is an architectural style that really brings the cross-cultural interchange of what was happening in the Iberian Peninsula at the time between the Arabs and the Christians, and it's a really beautiful type of architecture. So the town of Tobed, and we're going to see the central altarpiece. Now, this Virgin was the central panel of the central altarpiece. There were 3 altarpieces, and they were all commissioned and paid for by the donors Enrique II of Castille. There were 3. There was one dedicated to John the Baptist on one side, on the other side to Mary Magdalene, and the Prado has a panel of each of those altarpieces, and this is the central panel of the central altarpiece dedicated to the Virgin as the church was dedicated to the Virgin Mary. It is so beautiful, we can just enjoy it visually. But the inclusion of the donors just makes it a really historical and political document of the time. And we'll come back to that at the end. But they were commissioned to the best painters. Some of the best painters, the Serra workshop, which was Jaume Serra and his brothers, which had began in Barcelona, but that at this time they were already painting in Zaragoza for the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre. And this painting is the iconography is the Virgin of Humility. And because Virgin of Humility is that she is not seated on a throne, but she's seated on the floor on a pillow. And this is a type of image that was mendicant orders that, but at this time was already richly embroidered, richly decorated. We can see her blue cloak with this gorgeous embroidery of also these birds facing each other in a garland. Now, blue is a really expensive pigment, and here we see it a little bit darkened in color because of the oxidation over centuries, but this was a very richly funded work. The pigments are exquisite. It had gold. All of the punching, the techniques are just fantastic. And the nursing Madonna is a manifestation of the Virgin of Humility, a very typical one. And it was very popular in the mid-14th century. So here we also see the Son is holding the Virgin's breast, but also looking out to us in a very melancholy way, kind of foreshadowing his future suffering and sacrifice for humanity. and the Virgin just very gently is holding him in her lap with the two hands and very beautifully, tenderly holding him. Now she is in a traditional almond-shaped composition, and the celestial area, the heavenly area, is represented by the gold and the abstract symbolic idea that the gold with the reflection of light by the candlelights would have been heaven and eternity. And even the style of painting here with the variety of the angels, that she's being adored by 4 angels, 2 on each side, the variety in their technique of painting with the roses and the softness. This is a technique that Jaume Serra has incorporated that first came out kind of Siena, Italy, and was spreading through France to Spain, all around the Mediterranean. Very elegant and sophisticated. Now, on the earthly plane, we have the much smaller figures and of the donors of Enrique II of Castille with his wife Juana Manuel, and both are crowned, as King and Queen of Castile. They are with their children, the future Juan I of Castile, and the daughter, we don't know if it's Juana or Leonor, but Leonor would go on to be the Queen of Navarra, so very noble lineage. And they're following the protocol of men on the right side of the Virgin and women on the left side of the Virgin. Now, these donors make this very historical and political, because at the time, Castile and Aragon were immersed in a war, or making peace of a war that is called the War of the Two Pedros, because it was between Pedro the Cruel of Castile and Pedro IV of Aragon. And now this Enrique was the half-brother of Pedro the Cruel, who allied with Aragon to overthrow and kill his brother, and then he left the alliance with Aragon. And even France and England would get into this dispute. It was really quite a big deal. And so it seems that this altar was commissioned at a time of the final peacemaking, where Enrique is now King of Castile and they've made peace. And so in the strategic area, he would give these 3 altarpieces, giving thanks and adoration to the Virgin, but also including kind of a consecration of he as king. And because a big problem was that Enrique was illegitimate. He was the illegitimate son of Alfonso XI. He was set up very nicely as the Count of Trastamara, and he is the beginning of the Trastamara dynasty. So here, with the Virgin is also providing kind of a legitimacy towards his ruling family. And then he married Juana Manuel because she was very legitimate. She was granddaughter and great-granddaughter of kings and brought legitimacy to the marriage. And so we see that her daughter is, you can see that she is a copy of her, right? But also their son, if you see, compare Enrique with the son is also a copy of the mother. So the legitimacy comes from Juana Manuel. We also see her coat of arms at the top of the painting to the left, which is a winged arm with a sword with Leon. And the other coat of arms is Castilla and Leon. Now, this is of great significance that the Trastamara dynasty, which begins with Enrique, they will rule Castile onwards, and 50 years later, their descendants will rule Aragon, and then the two, Castile and Aragon, will unite with Isabel and Ferdinand, the Catholic kings, to really unite Spain and set the basis for what is modern Spain today. So historically, it's a very big moment. And we are lucky enough that this panel stayed in collections in Spain, and that the Vares Fisa donation gave it to the Prado, where we can all enjoy it. So thank you very much. I encourage everyone to visit and see the work. Also visit Tobed, and we'll see you again next week. Okay, so thank you very much.